I never meant to stare, but in that moment when our eyes met across the beach, everything changed between us. My name is Ethan Parker, and this is how one embarrassing moment with my boss turned my life upside down. The summer sun beat down mercilessly on Clearwater Beach as I struggled to keep up with my 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Being a single dad for the past 3 years had taught me many things, but nothing prepared me for the challenges of a beach day with an energetic child who seemed to possess unlimited stamina. "Daddy, look at my sandcastle," Lily called out, her small hands patting down a lopsided tower that was more sand pile than architectural marvel. "That's amazing, sweetheart," I replied, adjusting our beach umbrella against the wind. This rare Saturday off was precious. Working as a senior graphic designer at Horizon Marketing meant most of my weekends were spent catching up on projects or preparing for Monday presentations. I glanced at my phone. No messages from the office. A miracle. My boss, Victoria Hayes, had a reputation for disrupting weekends with urgent requests. Victoria was brilliant, driven, and intimidating as hell. At 35, she built Horizon from nothing into one of the most sought-after boutique marketing firms in Chicago. Everyone respected her. Many feared her. And I had complicated feelings about working under someone who was both my professional inspiration and the source of my constant anxiety. "Can we get ice cream?" Lily asked, abandoning her sandcastle project as quickly as she'd started it. "After lunch," I promised, reaching into our cooler for the sandwiches I'd packed that morning. "Come eat something real first." As Lily reluctantly joined me under the umbrella, I scanned the crowded beach. That's when I saw her. At first, I didn't recognize Victoria. Out of her usual tailored suits and commanding heels, she looked like a different person. Her dark hair was loose around her shoulders instead of pulled back in her signature tight bun. She was laughing, something I had rarely witnessed in the office with a woman who appeared to be her sister based on their similar features. I quickly looked away, hoping she hadn't noticed me. The last thing I wanted was to discuss the Henderson account on my day off with Lily. "Daddy, who's that lady?" Lily asked, following my gaze. "Just someone from work," I muttered, suddenly very interested in unwrapping our sandwiches. But curiosity got the better of me. I glanced up again just as Victoria was adjusting her beach wrap. The timing couldn't have been worse. The wind caught the light fabric, lifting it away from her body as she was changing positions. For a brief, eternal moment, she was exposed from the waist up before quickly securing the wrap around herself. Our eyes met across the distance. Horror washed over me as I realized she'd caught me looking directly at her during this vulnerable moment. Her expression shifted from shock to recognition to something I couldn't quite read. I immediately looked down, my face burning with embarrassment. This was it. I was going to be fired on Monday. 3 years at Horizon, gone because of one unfortunate glance. "Daddy, your face is all red," Lily observed, taking a bite of her sandwich. "It's just the heat," I lied, wondering if I could somehow pack up and leave without making the situation worse. Before I could decide on an escape plan, a shadow fell across our blanket. "Mr. Parker, what a surprise." Victoria Hayes stood before us, now fully covered in an elegant beach wrap, her sunglasses perched on top of her head. Up close, without makeup and the formal office attire, she looked younger, softer somehow, but no less intimidating. "Miss Hayes," I stammered, jumping to my feet. "I'm so sorry about I didn't mean to." She held up a hand, stopping my rambling apology. "It's Victoria when we're not at the office." Her eyes shifted to Lily. "And who might this be?" "I'm Lily Parker," my daughter announced before I could answer, extending her small hand with surprising formality. "I'm 7 3/4. Victoria's expression softened as she shook Lily's hand. "It's very nice to meet you, Lily Parker, who is 7 3/4. That's a very impressive age. This is my boss," I explained to Lily, still mortified but trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy. "The one who sends you messages when we're watching movies?" Lily asked innocently. Victoria raised an eyebrow. "And I wish the sand would open up and swallow me whole." "Sometimes work is important, even after hours," Victoria replied. But there was something in her tone I'd never heard before. Was it regret? An awkward silence fell between us, broken only by the sounds of waves and distant laughter. "Would you like a sandwich?" Lily offered, holding up our simple lunch. "Daddy makes them with the crusts cut off." To my complete surprise, Victoria hesitated, then nodded. "Actually, that sounds nice." If you don't mind, before I could process what was happening, Victoria Hayes, the woman who regularly made marketing executives stutter during presentations, was sitting on our beach blanket, accepting a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for my daughter. "My sister had to take a call," she explained, gesturing toward a woman pacing near the water with a phone pressed to her ear. "Work emergency on a Saturday?" I couldn't help asking. Victoria's lips curved into a small smile. Some bosses are unreasonable that way. Was she making a joke? In the 3 years I'd worked for her, I'd never seen this side of Victoria. "Daddy's raising me all by himself," Lily announced proudly, apparently deciding that since Victoria had accepted our sandwich, she was now a friend. "My mom lives in California with her new husband." "Lily," I said gently. "Miss Hayes, Victoria probably doesn't want to hear about our personal lives." Victoria took a bite of her sandwich, chewing thoughtfully before responding. "Actually, I didn't know you were a single parent, Ethan." "That explains a lot." "Explains what?" I asked, genuinely curious. "Why you sometimes look like you haven't slept in days," she said, matter-of-factly. "And why you're the only senior designer who never stays for after-work drinks." I shrugged, suddenly self-conscious. "Babysitters are expensive, and Lily needs stability." Victoria nodded, watching as Lily returned to her sandcastle construction. "You know, my father raised me and my sister alone after our mother died. It's not an easy job." This revelation stunned me. Victoria never shared personal details at work. Her life outside Horizon was a complete mystery to all of us. "It has its challenges," I admitted, "but also its rewards." "Like beach days?" she asked, gesturing around us. "Exactly, like beach days," I agreed, relaxing slightly. Maybe she wasn't going to fire me after all. As if reading my thoughts, Victoria said quietly about what happened earlier. My embarrassment came flooding back. "I am truly sorry. It was an accident and I didn't mean to. It was windy and these beach wraps are notoriously unreliable," she interrupted, her tone professional but not cold. "Let's just forget it happened." Relief washed over me. "Thank you." Victoria watched Lily for a moment, then asked, "How do you do it? Balance everything?" The question caught me off guard. Victoria Hayes asking me for insights. "Not very well sometimes," I admitted. "There are days when I feel like I'm failing at everything. Being a dad, meeting deadlines, keeping the house from falling apart. But then there are moments like this." I gestured toward Lily, who was now decorating her sandcastle with shells, completely absorbed in her task. "And it all feels worth it." Victoria nodded slowly. "I admire that. The ability to find balance." "Do you ever take time off?" I asked, then immediately regretted the personal question. "I'm sorry, that's none of my business." "No, it's a fair question," she replied, surprising me again. And the answer is not often enough, according to my sister. She practically dragged me here today. Our conversation was interrupted by Lily, who returned with a handful of shells. "Do you want to help with my castle?" she asked Victoria. I started to intervene, but Victoria was already getting to her feet. "I'd be honored," she said, following my daughter to her creation in the sand. What followed was perhaps the most surreal 30 minutes of my life. Victoria Hayes, terror of the Chicago marketing world, was on her knees in the sand, helping my daughter construct elaborate towers and mows. She seemed to approach sandcastle building with the same intensity she brought to client presentations, suggesting structural improvements and decorative elements with serious consideration. And she was smiling, really smiling, in a way I'd never seen at the office. When her sister finally approached, looking apologetic about her extended phone call, Victoria introduced us. "Melissa, this is Ethan Parker, one of our senior designers, and his daughter Lily. The one whose work you were praising last week?" Melissa asked, giving me an appraising look. Victoria shot her sister a warning glance. Ethan is very talented, she said neutrally. Daddy draws pictures for computers, Lily explained helpfully. That's a perfect description, Melissa laughed. Nice to meet you both. As they prepared to leave, Victoria hesitated. The Henderson presentation on Monday. Don't worry about coming in early. The client pushed it to Wednesday. Oh, I said, surprised she'd even mention work. Thank you for letting me know, she nodded, then added, maybe we should discuss adjusting your schedule. If you're managing all this alone, perhaps we could find a more flexible arrangement. I stared at her, speechless. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, she said, turning to go. Then to Lily, it was a pleasure meeting you, Lily. That's quite an impressive sandcastle. You can come see it again sometime. Lily offered generously. Victoria smiled. I'd like that. As they walked away, Melissa leaned close to her sister, saying something that made Victoria laugh and shake her head. I like your boss, Lily declared, returning to her sandcastle. You know what? I think I do too, I replied, realizing I was seeing Victoria Hayes, really seeing her for the first time. Monday morning arrived with the usual chaos of getting Lily ready for school and myself prepared for work. As I walked into the Horizon office, I braced myself for awkwardness. Would Victoria pretend our beach encounter never happened? Would there be tension? Had I imagined the connection that seemed to form between us? When I reached my desk, there was a small package waiting. Inside was a tiny, expertly crafted glass sandcastle and a note. Some structures are worth building carefully. V. I looked up to see Victoria watching from her office doorway. She gave me a small nod before turning back to her computer. Something had shifted between us, something I couldn't yet define, but that felt significant. One accidental glance had revealed the human behind the boss, and I couldn't help wondering where this new understanding might lead. The weeks that followed brought subtle but meaningful changes. Victoria implemented a new flexible schedule policy for employees with children. Our weekly team meetings moved from 5 p.m. to 300 p.m. When Lily came down with the flu and I had to work from home for 3 days, Victoria personally rearranged the project timeline to accommodate my absence. And sometimes when I stayed late to finish a project, she would stop by my desk with coffee and ask about Lily. 2 months after our beach encounter, Victoria paused by my workspace late one evening. Everyone else had gone home. You should leave, Ethan. Lily will be waiting. Mrs. Rodriguez stays until 8 on Thursdays, I explained, referring to our elderly neighbor who watched Lily after school. I'm trying to finish the Westfield mock-ups. Victoria studied the designs on my screen. They're good, really good, but they'll still be good tomorrow. I looked up at her, noticing the subtle changes in her appearance over recent weeks. Her hair was often looser now, her clothing still professional but less severe. There was a softness to her that hadn't been there before. Thank you, I said, saving my work. For everything you've done lately, the schedule changes, the understanding about Lily, it's made a huge difference. Victoria was quiet for a moment. You know, I've been thinking about what you said at the beach about balance, and I'm not very good at it, she admitted, but I'm trying to learn. As I gathered my things to leave, she added, There's a company picnic next month. Employees' families are welcome. Will you and Lily come? The question hung between us, feeling weighted with meaning beyond a simple work function. We'd love to, I replied. Victoria nodded, a small smile playing at her lips. Good. I'll look forward to it. As I walked to my car that evening, I reflected on how one embarrassing moment, one accidental glance, had somehow opened a door neither of us knew existed. Victoria Hayes was still my boss, still intimidating in her brilliance and drive. But now I saw the woman behind the title, someone searching for her own kind of balance, someone who built sandcastles with the same care she built marketing campaigns. And I couldn't help wondering if perhaps we were building something else together, something neither of us had planned, but that might turn out to be the most important project of all. 6 months later, As Victoria and I walked along that same beach with Lily running ahead of us, our hands occasionally brushing against each other, I realized that sometimes life's most embarrassing moments can lead to its most beautiful beginnings. Sometimes, an accidental glance can change everything. "What are you thinking about?" Victoria asked, her hand finally catching mine. "Just how grateful I am for the wind that day," I replied honestly. She laughed, the sound still new and wonderful to my ears. "Next time I'll just say hello like a normal person." "Where would be the fun in that?" I teased, squeezing her hand. Ahead of us, Lily was already starting a new sandcastle, calling for us to hurry and help. As we joined her on the sand, I caught Victoria's eye and saw in her expression everything I was feeling. Wonder at the unexpected path that had brought us here. Gratitude for second chances, and hope for all the moments yet to come. Sometimes, the most beautiful love stories begin with the most awkward first chapters. And sometimes, the family you build together is even stronger than the one you thought you were meant to have. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories about life's unexpected moments and the connections that define us. Remember, sometimes the most embarrassing moments can lead to the most beautiful beginnings. Share your own stories in the comments below.